Hey guys, welcome back, Bolt Spider here. Today we're going to be going over the OCG metagame report that is up on Road to the King. But before we get into it, I would like to thank Hakuna Matata for a shout out today, and also if you're new here from his channel and enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button as I upload every day around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also I do cover things like OCG news, YCS tournament coverages, regional coverages from time to time, and many other things as well. One of the noteworthy things on my channel is returning to deck build, which is rebuilding decks that I've built from the past and updating them to modern standards. Also, I do cover many cards that release at very late at night, so there are nighttime videos during the week. So let's get right into it, and let's see what there is. So the metagame breakdown, as we can see, branded Despia, Flundry's Adventure, and Drytron are all in the top 4 decks, along with Punk Therian, Tenyi Swordsoul, Adagnister, Emancipator, Adventurer Virtual World, Therians, ABC, and also many other decks like Tri-Brigade Lyralist. But the main decks that they're focusing on today are branded Despia, Flundry's, Adventurer Tenyi, and Drytron. As we can see, there are many different versions of the branded Despia deck, being Adventurer branded Despia, Destiny Hero branded Despia, Destiny Hero Adventurer branded Despia, Destiny Hero Predaplant branded Despia, Dynamorphia branded Despia, and Invoked branded Despia. Then we also have Flundry's, Rose Dragon Adventure, Drytron, Therion Punk, and all the other decks. So let's take a look and let's see. We have a 8-0 for finish at first place for the 13th Ram Cup, and they had 78 participants. With Fusion Destiny back at 1, some players have experimented with the Destiny Hero package, but without Predaplant, Verte, and Anaconda. The brick outweighs the power of the Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. Despite both Water Enchantress and Rite of Armisier became limited, Adventure Package remains as the dominant build for the Despia deck. The semi-limitation of branded opening saw an increase of Aluber the Despia from 2 to 3 copies. Now this is one thing I definitely do see happening in the TCG over time. Adventurer engine getting hit, branded stuff getting hit, and also Verte and Anaconda going away. Now, as we can see, Rite and our Water Enchantress are both at 1, but it's still played because the engine is still super powerful, getting a free token that can get a bounce, along with a free Omni Negate. With that, it creates sort of a backbone to having cards in the deck, and I wonder what the OCG is going to do on their July list, because the reason of these 2 cards still being able to exist, also Foolish Burial being another copy. So we're going to see on that. Now, some of the cards that we see in the deck as well is definitely interesting, as they're still playing the 1 Crossout Designator because it's such a powerful card. They're also playing the 2 Pot of Prosperities that just went down to 2 for them. They're running Gold Sarcophagus now because it's another copy of your Despian Tragedy, and you can get it back to your hand for another use. Overall, I really think that Despia is one of the popular decks over there, and I wonder if it's going to take way after the Forbidden Limited list for us, because they are releasing the structure deck within the next couple days. So keep an eye out on that, and let's see what happens. Now, as we can see in the extra deck, they're more centric on running triple Albion because they don't have to run Verte, and Albion is just another way to get out of Fusion Summon, using something like an Effect Veiler shuffling back from Lubellion, or using Effect Veiler and an Albaz just to get into many other things. Now, they are running 1 Albaz because this is post-Dimension Force, and you don't see the Albia Dragon Renatus, which is definitely interesting, but it is an option to run later on if Verte still survives. After that, we have the Flundry's deck, went 6-0, excluding 1 bye, and finished 2nd place in the 7th Osaka Cup. It's a 5v5 team tournament, which had 125 participants. He ran 2 Retaliating Sea in the side deck against branded Despia, Drytron, and Mr. Room. Actually, a very good tech card against it. Against branded Despia, Retaliating Sea can be summoned from the hand when the opponent activates branded fusion and branded opening, Fusion materials will be banished due to Retaliating Sea's second effect, with no Despia monsters or fallen albas in the graveyard to target. Branded in red cannot activate. Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon, cannot activate. All effect also cannot be activated since the activation is cost of sending one fusion monster that lists fallen albas as material to the graveyard cannot be fulfilled. Against Drytron, Retaliating Sea can be special summoned after activating Drytron Nova, Meteonis Drytron, or Dawn of the Herald. Drytron monsters, Herald of the Arclight, and Eva relies on the graveyard to get their effects, and Drytron will be quite impacted by Retaliating Sea. But then we also have Mr. Rune. It could be activated when the opponent activates a Mr. Rune quick play spell, choosing the effect to special summon one Mr. Rune monster from the extra deck to the extra monster zone. Retaliating Sea will cause the spell cards to be banished instead of going to the graveyard after resolving, suppressing Spring of the Mr. Rune's effect to recycle and draw cards. That's one card that I definitely see being able to be played in the next format, being Retaliating Sea, because it does so much against Despia, it does so much against many other decks. Being a card that is very impactful like this is definitely going to be changing how the format is, and I'm surprised that people aren't running it right now. Now, as we can see for the deck, it is the very standard Flundry's list, and super standard indeed. As we can see, there's the D-shifters, there's the pot of dualities and prosperities. The extra deck is utilizing the 3 attributes that you do run, which is wind, water, and dark. And we see the tech of the chaos, well, the underworld goddess of the closed forest, and also running Nightmare, Cerberus, Unicorn, and Phoenix. The extra deck is more of a utility card, and if we look in the side deck, it is just a lot of useful pieces. As we can see, they're citing the Unexplored Winds and the Harpy's Featherstorm, along with the Harpy Featherduster and Drawn Lockbird, along with the Apex Avian, because they're running 2 Rise of the Managa Monarch and 1 Flundries and Empen. I feel like the TCG is going to start moving towards this route than actually running the double Empen, 1 Rise of 1 Avian. But they are also running double Stree, which gives a little more consistency with the names for Flundries. Next up, we have Adventure Tenny. This went 6-0-1, excluding a bye, and got first place in the 5v5 team. So we have the same list or same event with Adventure Tenny and the Flundries. So I'm guessing his team did a little extra while carrying him, because the last list went 7-0 and this one went 7-0. Well, 6-1. So let's take a look at it. And as both Water Enchantress and Right became limited, he decided to cut back on 1 Wandering Griffin Rider and 1 Illegal Knight, and instead went heavily on the Tinny count. Destrudo the Lost Dragon was also added back into the main deck as an additional option for Foolish Burial to send from the deck to the graveyard. Now, this deck is a little big, so it's going to be cut up into multiple pieces. As we could see, the triple Fashada, the triple Ashuna, and the 1 Adhara. That is definitely a heavier 10 count than normal, but we still see a lot of the most notable pieces in the deck. You have double O-Lion, 1 Jet Synchron, along with the double Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. You also have the Barricade Borg Blocker, which is a heavy staple in this deck, because it's a free additional Link 2 that utilizes pieces of your combo. So it's another backup just in case if your Hulk gets stopped. Other than that, you see Denlong, Baxia, Chaofeng, Yazi, parts of the Yangzing pieces, and pieces that people really want to get hit, being Auroradon and Denlong. You see Chaiwen, one of the Yangzings in the main deck, because it tutors out from pieces like your Denlong or your Hulk, depending on which way you want to go. Other than that, this list is looking pretty standard, and I could definitely see this being played more. Foolish Burial being, again, once a powerful card, being able to send things like Destrudo, Water Enchantress, and other pieces as well. I know this deck searches out the Arch Nemesis Protoss off of the Sword Soul Emergence, because you search that off of the Chizao, and I know that you end on Chizao, Barone, and Sinister Sovereign, or Qingxing Long Long. maybe along with a Chow Feng as well, but I'm not too sure. And we look in the side deck, it is 100% pretty standard for a deck like this, citing a total of 7 hand traps, 8 hand traps if you count in Perm. But overall, I'm definitely happy that the TCG doesn't have this deck or able to run this deck, because we are missing so many cards out of it, like Arch Nemesis Protos, Mecha Fanabeast O-Line, Maxi, Jet Synchron, Vanity's Emptiness, Denlong First of the Ying Zing, and number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk. Now let's get to Drytron. This went 7-1 and went first place in the 77th Next Play Cup, and it had 32 participants. He ran 1 Herald of Greenlight in the side deck against Branded Despia. Mr. Herald of the Greenlight has the advantage to be able to be added off of the effects of Cyber Angel Benton or Ava, but it has weaknesses against of negating the activation. Branded Fusion and Branded in Red are written as can be only activated once per turn. If their activations were negated by Herald of the Greenlight, then a second copy could be activated again in the same turn. Ash Blossom Joy Springs negates the effect, but not the activation, hence Branded Fusion has the effect. A second copy cannot be activated in the same turn. This is different from Branded Opening, which is written as can be only used once per turn. No matter its activation or effect was negated, a second copy can be activated. As such, if you have both Ash and Herald of Greenlight in the hand, then it's better to hold the Ash for the Branded Fusion. Now, this is OCG Drytron. We haven't seen this in a while, but they have everything that we don't have. They have Union Carry, they have Ava, they have Triple Ben 10, and also, they have a lot more than us. And by a lot more, I mean total of 6 more cards. Now, with the OCG, this is one of the decks that is starting to pick up traction more because of Master Duel. And it is also one of those decks that really didn't get hit because players didn't really like playing it, or they didn't know how to play it that efficiently. As we can see, they're only running 1 Gamma, Triple Zeta, Triple Alpha. I would be running 2 Gamma in a deck like this. And they're also running Pre-Preparation Right at 3 to get Herald of Perfection and Dawn of the Herald. I would be running Preparation Right and also Herald of Ultimateness because it also negates summons. But we see the Triple Ben 10, the 1 Natasha, the double Ava. This deck is pretty much what TCG had back in 2021. I definitely do think that they're going to start hitting this deck as it becomes more prominent in the future, but we'll have to see on that. And in the side deck, as we can see, they're running the 1 Greenlight, the 1 Token Collector, the 1 Lancia, just all one of hand traps that they usually just run. But they're also running 1 Maxi in the main and 2 in the side because it's just one of those things that you draw it if you draw it, or you get to it if you get to it. But other than that, the conclusion is, despite another wave of limitations, Adventure remains a popular choice in the current metagame. The initial OCG April 4th or April 2022 format remains largely similar, Branded Despia and Flundry taking the top spots, while Adventure, Tinny, and Drytron trails behind. Drone Blackbird is a tech choice for the new format, effective against Flundry's, Drytron, and Tri-Brigade Loyalists, resulting in many decks running the full playset of 3 in the side deck. But you can find all of these lists here on Road to the King, so you can look at them closer, and there are many other things that they do. They do a metagame analysis from the previous metagame, and it is labeled the era of no DPE. But now DPE is back with 1 Fusion Destiny and no Verte. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you again to Hakuma Matata for the shout out today. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and